Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Iris Podcast. I'm your host, Bowsy. Joining me here today, we have Thor Umea and Master Ryan making his debut on the Iris Podcast. How are you two doing this fine evening?
Doing pretty good. As I say, good as Monday could be, starting off the week.
I got good news for work for a possible interview for work, so that means my job applications have been going through at least.
You love to hear that good news. Definitely a Monday. Monday's difficult, but you know what? It's glad to see that we're all getting through it. We're here to recap everything going on in Tranquility, especially as we enter the second week of stage number 2, our halfway point. So this is where everything can really start to develop as we head into the final weeks of the tournament regular season. But let's start off by recapping our first week of Overwatch 2 and our first week of stage 2 with Amp It Up. Starting with our favorite moment from last week. Thea, we'll start with you. What was your favorite moment?
This feels so targeted, but it is literally the match I casted where Widow Main, aka Sime, somehow always dies first as Zen in any team fight, but when there's like a blading Genji, he manages to kill the Genji before anything can happen. And somehow their main support can also play a really decent Genji. So that was also a surprise more than anything.
I mean, it's always good to see that flexibility in players. It's always good to see that sort of surprise factor in matches. So definitely shows that sort of skill there. Ryan, what was your favorite moment?
So mine was going into the Koala Kings match. So I talked about in predicting Trank that Koala Kings, I feel like they had an easy first round. And going in and getting the 4-0 immediately kind of proved and settled that, yes, they are a top contending team now. And I think that they're going to keep trying to prove that as time keeps going.
Yeah, definitely Koala Kings, a really strong showing to start off stage number 2, a dominant stage 1, looking for the golden regular season, which we haven't seen since the likes of Alpha back in Season 7, so we'll see if they're able to complete that. My favorite moment from last week has to do with some interesting things happening in Transcendence Tier. The top 2 teams all season were wounded this last week. The Guangzhou Gangsters dropped their first map of the season to the Sydney Sunsets, which was not a map 4 throw, for anyone wanting to doubt that. And Decapitators, who was also undefeated in maps this season, dropped 2 maps to Amnesia. It's the first time that both of these teams have dropped maps since the Season 8 semifinals. So we're definitely seeing that ramp up in difficulty for these 2 teams. It's going to be interesting to see how well they do moving forward in stage number 2. Speaking of moving forward in stage number 2, what are you most looking forward to as we enter the second week, Thea?
I think more than anything currently, it's the submission for end of season awards. So if for all those who are waiting for that, end of season awards are coming back up. So that means each of the GMs from the different teams will be submitting who their best player is for the different roles. And let us know, there is no more best main tank and off tank because we only have 1 tank now. Who knows? We'll see what Tranquility staff has to decide for this. But hey, end of season awards coming up. That means also signing up for committees, because we all know that to determine who gets these awards for end of season, it's determined by a committee, not by the community. A select set of people in the community, and you have to sign up if you want to be part of it.
We'll definitely get into that end of season awards talk later in the podcast, but great to preface that here starting off the show. Ryan, what are you most looking forward to?
So my favorite thing, especially in this part of the season, is always the elimination group. So you're good to see the teams that have their tough stage 1s come out and show what they have, as well as even teams that have struggled a little bit. Now they're getting placed against teams with similar play style, similar rankings as them. You get to see them start to shine out of these groups as well.
Yeah, definitely the elimination group. A lot of different results over there. Seeing some interesting teams come out on top. I went for a specific one. Obviously, you two going for more broad assumptions. I went for looking at a specific team. I want to talk about Hades. They were the lowest scored Discord team that was not in the elimination group, and already they're coming out of a big win over Ragnarok Loki to start off the stage, which is a very good start, I would say, for a team coming in looking like not a great team. So good way to start off the stage. We'll see if they're able to carry it on as they face off against Space Created this next week. And now let's finish out our Amp It Up section with a bold prediction for the remainder of the season. Thea, we'll start with you.
Not maybe as bold as people might think, but I wouldn't be surprised if in Harmony there's going to be a B pool team that somehow makes it into the championship bracket.
We've seen it before. We've seen B pool teams, and we've also seen elimination pool teams make it to the championship bracket. So that is in the potential. We'll see if it happens this season, especially with Overwatch 2. Ryan, what is your bold prediction?
All right. So looking across all the divisions, I think there's a pretty clear picture of the top 4 teams people thinks. I think that in each of those groups, we'll actually see one of the top teams. They're gonna make it be a top 4 team, and they are going to struggle in the playoffs and go 2-0, or sorry, 0-2, and be knocked out of the tournament right away.
We definitely have seen it again as well. We've seen the top teams fall early, so we'll see if that happens again this season. So it'll be interesting to see. My bold prediction seems probably the most boldest, probably of all these 3 predictions here. But I say that the current top team in at least 2 divisions, based on our Iris top teams or based on standings, whatever you want to consider, the current top team in at least 2 divisions will not win the championship. We have seen it several times. I'm willing to bet that once we go into the playoffs, there's probably going to be a lot of meta changes. A lot of things are going to be changing. I feel like the top teams that we consider are not going to be able to adapt fast enough, and therefore they will not be making it to that final area, to that championship match, or not winning the championship. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Overwatch 2 has thrown a lot of wrenches into the Overwatch 2 has thrown a lot of monkeys into wrenches, and now it's starting to get a little ridiculous with the season going on. Real quick, before we head into our Iris top teams, I'm seeing a lot of you enter in giveaway entries. Today is the last day to enter in your giveaway entries for 5 $50 Amazon gift cards as sponsored from our event week festivities. Or at least what we could manage of them, but still, $5 $50 Amazon gift cards are going to be drawn at the end of this. Either NPC will be announcing it, or I'll be announcing when we are going to close the drawing for that, so that you guys can get those entries in as quickly as possible. But with that out of the way, we're going to head over to our Iris top teams. Let's note real quick that we do not have a top 4 for Harmony EU, because there have been some changes, unfortunately, in that tournament, so we're suspending the top 4 Harmony EU teams. But with that out of the way, we're heading over to our Harmony North America top 8. Starting off in 8th place, you have EX Kusanagi. 7th place, Millibot Gaming. 6th place, Ace High. 5th place, Strix. 4th place, the Galactic Penguins. 3rd place, Geometric. 2nd place, the Koala Kings. And 1st place, to absolutely nobody's surprise right now, it's the Flashbacks. Thea, your thoughts on this top 8?
What do you mean? I thought Koala Kings was on top. That is the reaction. That would have been a funny gut reaction. But no, like, set in stone. There really hasn't been much changes into this ranking, really. I think the only thing that probably went in and went out was just like who's in the 7th and 8th place, right? Because we've had Big Bang Buccaneers there once in a while, and then you've also had Milobat Gaming not there for a while. But like every other team that's been on the list has been there on the list, and it's pretty consistent. So it's more of a question of who can actually break through maybe to the top 4. Because right now, from that list, there seems to be already that very noticeable gap between who probably are the best teams in Harmony Tier NA, and then the next set of people in that top 8.
Ryan, your thoughts? I mean, in all over, this is a very solid top 8. I don't think anyone can argue about that. I think, especially after this week, we're going to see a bunch of teams start to rise and fall. I think, as I said, the top 2 teams, I think right now, especially the Koala Kings, and again, I wasn't all for them in the beginning. Now I can see why they were where they're at. I think that's pretty solid. But yeah, anything from the 3 through about 10, I think, are almost interchangeable at this point with Harmony. There's a lot of good teams playing a lot of good Overwatch right now.
I will tell you that the gap between 2nd and 3rd right now is 15 points, and there is definitely a lot of variance after that. So definitely a lot of variance throughout all of the standings here in Harmony North America top 8, but we'll see how it develops as we go on. Let's move over to our Discord EU top 4, which, surprise, surprise, I mean, depends on what you call surprise. There is not a lot of variance here. 4th place is Mythical Kitsune. 3rd place, Feeders Divided. 2nd place, Deathwatch. And 1st place, Feeders United. Thea, your thoughts on the top 4?
I mean, it's the top 4 we've always expected from Discord Tier EU, right? Like, that's been what's fielded in consistently, and they're the team they're the teams that are consistently showing great results, especially for teams like Feeders United and then Death Watch, and even to an extent Feeders Divided.
Master Ryan, your thoughts?
So this is exactly what you expect. These teams are playing really well. The one thing I could see was Death Watch being able to actually take over Fears United. I think that's actually going to be a close race for the top. Is the main thing.
Yeah, and I mean this is where I'm going to be commenting. I have some notes to here that I have to write about, especially when it comes to Discord EU. So obviously last week saw Death Watch take the top spot over Feeders United in the standings. Death Watch were able to beat Feeders United 3-1, which many people could see as an upset. We've been rating Feeders United as the top team this season in Discord EU for a very long time. Now, Feeders United had a ringer. Overwatch 2 is a new game. You can make the excuses, but the fact that Death Watch was able to beat Feeders United quicker than they have other teams in Overwatch 1 tells me that maybe Death Watch is in that top spot. But it's also worth noting, we can actually see here in the content creation team, based on the results, I can see how many people voted for first place on these teams. For Feeders United, 4 people voted Feeders United as the top spot. For Death Watch, that number goes up to 6. And also, yes, don't tell me this is wrong. This is the American Sign Language sign for 6. But that sort of identifies that, yes, people are thinking Death Watch is at the top, but those people who don't think Death Watch are at the top are underrating this team. I think Death Watch needs to be more considered right now. They are heavily underrated, and the fact that they are second bothers me. I am sorry, and I know I'm going to be tooting their horn. I know I'm going to sound like, my biased self, but Death Watch should be first place right now. We'll have to see how well they're able to do this week, but I think Death Watch are the number 1 team in the Discord EU. But the standings obviously say that it's Feeders United at the top. So we're going to stick with Feeders United at the top, and we're going to move on now to Discord North America. Before I start a Twitter war, we're going on to Discord tier North America. Starting off in 8th place, you have the SEAL Team Spuds. 7th place is Avalon. 6th place, Adelaide Eclipse. 5th place, the Galactic Gibbons. 4th place, Joey Esports. 3rd place, the Chicago Deep Dish. 2nd place, MI7. And 1st place, making their return back to the throne, is Reminiscence. Thea, your thoughts on the top 8.
I feel like Joey Esports is slightly underrated for this and should be like maybe higher than Chicago Deep Dish right now. Because for one, they beat MI7, right? And we've had MI7 touted as the number 1 for a lot of these top 8 rankings. And the fact that you beat MI7 just means like you should be given, like you should be put on the radar more. And from what I know, it wasn't as close as people would think. Like even if the scores would say otherwise. Now Reminiscence taking back the top spot makes sense because MI7 did lose to Joey Esports, who's a significantly lower, rank than them in the previous top 8s. Now, and consequently to that, just Avalon going back to like 7 just makes all the more sense, especially with how they lost very Galactic Gibbons was very methodical with how they broke apart Avalon in Overwatch 2 in their feature match. So Avalon dropping that many spots makes a lot of sense. And what I'm just hoping to see is, what Overwatch 2 has to bring and shaking this rankings up even further.
Master Ryan, your thoughts?
I have many thoughts. many thoughts for this division.
There we go.
No. It's kind of difficult. So Rem is a good team. I can say this after going against them. They're a very, very, very good team. They definitely deserve being in that top spot right now. MI7, as Thea said, yeah, I think they're being a little overrated now. I think everyone's in the hype train that they were the first team to beat Rem. But then Joey coming in and kind of putting it to him kind of showed that, are they a number 2 team? Don't you think if the thought is Joey should be higher, then shouldn't MI7 be lower? So that, and the other team is Adelaide. I'm big on Adelaide. I think they're ranked a little bit high. I think SEAL Team Spud's a little bit too high. Same thing with Avalon. I think they are a little bit too high on this ranking. But there are some teams that are at the 9, 10, 11 that have been in that same entire place, and they could be swapped out as well.
Yeah, looking at 9, 10th, and 11th right now, you don't see them, but they are Doodles, Redacted, and Ragnarok Loki, respectively. So those two have been in this top 8 before, and some of them definitely could have been in this top 8. Others might, maybe not as much. But now I have another complaint about this. And honestly, this is more just like a description of Discord NA in general. Right now we have a circle of what I'm going to call a circle of madness in this group. And it involves three of the top 4 teams in this division. And the 4th team in that is not even in the top 8 right now. They are 10th, and that's Redacted. When you look at these 4 teams, Redacted beat Joey. Joey beat MI7. MI7 beat Rem. Rem beat Redacted. Welcome to the Circle of Madness, and welcome to Discord Tier NA. What do we even think about this tier? Like, this tier is...
I can tell you right now, Chicago Deep Dish has nothing to say about it. And that is my hot take because they're not even in this circle of confusion.
That's because they haven't lost. Chicago Deep Dish are the only undefeated team all season.
But they haven't gone up against any of these teams either.
Well, they're going up against Joey this week. We'll see if they're able to continue that and be able to make a statement for themselves.
This is what happens when you have a tier with a bunch of teams, or a division with a bunch of very close skilled teams, all have a lot of going on, and now you're branching them out into all the other divisions. It's just, now you're putting all the different teams together, and it's, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a mess. And right now, we'll have to see how these teams are able to continue going. I would not be surprised if we see this top 8 change drastically next week. It went with some of these teams probably losing more matches, some winning other bigger matches. We'll see how it goes. And I mean, to be fair, Manny was in the chat, former Joey Esports player. They were saying the MI7 match was a Mickey Mouse. So either that means MI7 were not at their top game, or Joey Esports were finding some sort of strategy to get rid of him. I don't know. Maybe Cryptic was the problem with Joey Esports. Cryptic J-Force left the team, and now Joey Esports are winning.
Hey, you don't talk to our Hall of Famer that way right there, Bowsy.
You're not wrong.
I feel like Joey, we just need like a Navino hot take to come on here. They're always, great hot takes that he's bringing in.
I'm pretty sure he has a lot of them for Joey Esports.
He has a lot of them.
A lot.
He has a lot of them in general. Navino's probably the hottest take person on this entire podcast. Let's move on to Transcendence here before I even lose my mind even more, because Transcendence here looks kind of normal. In 8th place, you have Reckless Sigma. 7th place, the Arctic Foxes. 6th place, Classified. 5th place, the Devil Dukes. 4th place, Sydney Sunsets. 3rd place, Amnesia. 2nd place, Decapitators. And 1st place is the Guangzhou Gangsters. Thea, your thoughts on the top 8?
Honestly, like, for at least, like, the top 4, these all make sense. Like, them just keeping those top 4 spots. Now, when we talk about the spots of maybe 5 up to maybe...
Disconnecting here.
There we go.
Hello? Making sure nothing broke.
You're good.
We good?
I think
we
you're good.
Are we back? We back? We're back in business, I think.
Yep.
I think we're back. Okay, cool. Thea, your thoughts. Sorry, I had to interrupt you for the middle of that, but your thoughts.
As I said, so you have your top 4 of Transcendence here, which completely makes sense on why they're there. Records look the way they are. Guangzhou still being on top of Decapitators makes even more sense now based on the number of maps they've lost in their recent match. And I think a top 4 makes sense. Now, the 5 up to maybe 10th or 11th in the list of Transcendence tier could be interchangeable in terms of who's on what spot. Like, personally, I would probably have put Frostfisher within the top 8, but then they're 9th on the list, but they have been in and out of that list. So I think there's more fluctuations, at least within the lower portions of the top 8s.
Master Ryan, your thoughts.
So this top 8 is exactly what I thought. I mean, everything's there. I have no arguments how this is going on. Now, the thing that I think is going to be interesting is going to happen next week or the week after the top 8. You kind of hinted to the top 2 teams came in here dropping 0 maps. They have now lost maps. So now I'm worried about, okay, them now losing maps shows that they are touchable. So are they going to be able to keep these top 2 spots with Guangzhou and the Decapitators? I think that's going to be interesting. I think it opened the doors for Amnesia and Sydney Sunsets to really step in. And they have a chance of taking this top 1 and 2 spots.
Yeah, they definitely do. And again, I mentioned Decapitators dropping 2 maps to Amnesia, Guangzhou Gangsters dropping a map to Sydney. Where's Amnesia and Sydney? 3rd and 4th, respectively. So they are very much in pouncing distance to be able to take those top 2 spots away. Also, as Chris said in the chat, it seems to always be in Transcendence tier I have a sort of connection issue, and it always seems to be after I mention the name Devil Dukes.
Well, I don't know why they're that high up either. I think the fact that Arctic Foxes beat them in stage 1 should, bump that down a bit further.
Listen, Thea, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that Transcendence tier is a mess, and the Devil Dukes will lose based on a dice roll. They're basically the doodles of Transcendence tier at this point, except that their dice are never wrong.
Where are my dice?
Please do
see
not
what they're going to happen this week.
Listen, we have a bad history of dice on the Iris podcast. Do not bring that back up into our discussion.
But is a good dice roll, is a high dice roll good or bad for them?
I'm not going to go
We
into
move
that.
on, maybe.
Let's move on before I have another disconnection error. Maybe my PC blows up, because I do not want to talk about the Devil Dukes any more than I need to. You know what I am going to talk about? Our montage this week. Of course, we always have our weekly highlights montage. This week's montage was edited by some loser. I don't know. I've never heard of this guy before. Bosie or Boozy? I don't know. I've never heard of this guy before. I mean, they seem like a sort of new person. They don't seem that sort of great. I mean, sounds like someone who hasn't been on a team since season 6 or something like that. I don't know. Sounds like that to me, at least. But anyway, you know what? I'm obliged to say I have to thank them for this week's montage. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this week's weekly montage video. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to head into our main segment of today. Obviously, as you can tell by the title of our Twitch channel, or at least the title of the VOD, we always have a different segment. This week, it's market investments. It's time to invest. It's the middle of stage number 2. Investments are on the rise, and we here at Tranquility Gaming are trying to decide which ones you should be investing in, or at least which ones we're investing in, and you can make a decision based off of that. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to name teams who are not necessarily viewed as top half in their tier. This is based off of previous Power Rankings weeks, not this week of Power Rankings, so some of this may not be correct. So I will then ask my analysts, based on each team, if they think it is time to buy in, as in they think that they are a real threat to make it to the championship bracket or make a championship bracket run, time to stand by, which means they are not sure, or if it's time to sell, which means they have no real chance of making it to the championship bracket or have any chance to contend for the championship. So It's going to be interesting to see how these responses go, and we're going to start out in the Harmony EU tier. The top 2 teams in here are Brig Divers and Hope Guardians. They will not be in conversation here, so we're going to talk first about Dino Nuggies. Thea, what is your market investment on the Dino Nuggies?
Right now I'm on standby for Dino Nuggies. While they did have a very strong showing during their stage 1, it seems like they've been slowly falling off. I think the past few matches that they've had, I think they've ultimately also lost to Hope Guardians, which is why Hope Guardians also has overtaken them in that top 2 spot, which they used to hold the spot with Brig Divers. So I'm on standby right now until I could see more from how they're going to do in this transition to Overwatch 2.
Master Ryan, what's your market investment?
I'm on standby as well. So, especially after a 1-3 loss against Hope Guardian last week, it's kind of hard to see with them being 3-3 right now. They're kind of just holding in there. I think there's a chance for them to make a run for it. They've shown in the past that they are able to be a good team and do a lot of work. But as of right now, I think they're just kind of hanging in there. So, standby.
We'll definitely see how well Dino Nuggies are able to fare getting into Overwatch 2. Our second team and our final team we're going to talk about in Harmony EU is Acer. Obviously, a very rough feature mass last week, but you know, there always is a chance. Thea, what's your market investment on Acer?
Sadly, I'm a sell for Acer. The loss during the feature doesn't really help them, especially when Hive Mind prior to that was also in the lower rankings for Harmony NAs, and they've also lost to C522, which is also not, they didn't even make it to whatever rankings there have been recently, so it's a sell for me.
Real quick before I ask Master Ryan, as NPC said in the chat, last chance for giveaway entries to win one of 5 $50 Amazon gift cards for our and pretty much the end of our event week giveaways. Master Ryan, now, what is your market investment on Acer?
So Acer, I was all for them in the beginning of the season. I was like, I'm excited. I want to see them shine. I want to see them everything. But as of right now, I'm a sell. The reason for that is they're 3-3 right now. Of their 3 wins, 2 of them have come to 4-0 from forfeits. So they had a bye week, and then they had a win against Dragneel because of the forfeit that they did. So coming in with an 0-4 against Hivemind, I think it's time to sell.
We'll definitely see how these 2 teams go in Harmony EU and if the market investments reign true. Let's move over now to Harmony North America. The 4 teams in the top in this category are the Flashbacks, the Koala Kings, Geometric, and the Galactic Penguins. They will not be in conversation for the market investments. We'll start off with Millivaut Gaming, who had, I would pretty much say, a Cinderella story to start off the season, but are still in B group regardless. Thea, what is your market investment on Millivaut Gaming?
I mean, Millivaut, right, very tough pool that they came from, ultimately going to B pool just by map differential at the end of the day. But as they're in their current B pool group, they're showing a lot. So it's a buy for me as long as they continue that, solid win streak in their B pool.
Ryan, what is your market investment?
I'm buy. I'm all about Millivaut. I'm not going to lie. They're one of my favorite teams to watch right now. I think they're like an underdog kind of story. I can see them taking it, making the upper bracket, and even if they don't end up making it to the upper bracket in the playoffs, I can see them making it to the championship bracket 100%.
Millivaut Gaming, definitely an underdog story, no matter what way you look at it, especially with a lot of good talent. Oa, Hunt, Yaxam on that tank role, was really good on Fahrenheit last season. I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the market says about Millivaut as we continue the season. Let's move over to the team that Millivaut actually beat in stage number 1, which is Strix. Strix coming off a bad loss against the Koala Kings in stage 2, but that doesn't mean they're out of the market conversation yet. Thea, what is your market investment on Strix?
Okay, to be fair, the reason why they lost that match against Millivaut Gaming was because I was ringing for them on off tank. I don't play tank. So you're free to interpret that as you will. I got placed in the role I don't even play. But my take for Strix, just because maybe this is internal knowledge bias set up of what's coming up, they're not going to look great in stage 2. But I'm gonna buy for them just for the sole reason that it's going to be a bad stage 2 with a potential really good playoff run a la Frost Nova, except minus the final loss.
We'll definitely see if they're able to make that run. Master Ryan, what is your market investment on Strix?
So with Strix, I'm actually the opposite of Thermea. I'm currently on standby. I think Overwatch 2 is going to definitely be a struggle for Strix. Coming in, they had a really good stage 1. They look like a very strong contender. I could see that they're going to struggle again in Overwatch 2, ringer or not.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to have the same caliber coming in as some of the other teams in there. So I'm going to be on standby. There's a chance, but I'm more to standby to sell.
We'll definitely see how well Strix is able to go and if the market keeps up with them. Next up on our list is Ace High, probably one of the higher ranked teams in terms of Harmony. They are in A pool this season in a different pool than the Flashbacks. Their only loss was against the Flashbacks in stage number 1. Not starting stage number 2 off hot though. But Thea, what is your market investment currently on Ace High?
I think Ace High is on a standby for me. Even though, like, I will give them credit, their match against Geometric was actually close. It's a 3-2, ultimately losing. But Geometric is in the top 4 for Harmony right now. So the fact you go toe-to-toe with a top 4 team says a lot. But I'm on standby just for, other reasons that I've heard, at least for what's happening internally with that team.
Top 3 Geometric is, so you were close with the top 4, but it counts. Master Ryan, what is your market investment on Ace High?
I am also on standby right now. So I think they have a chance to be dominant. I think their stage 1 was easier and they helped games closer than they should have. I think after this week, it's playing Galactic Penguins. It's definitely going to be the wake up to see, okay, are they going to be a team to buy or are they going to be a team to sell? Because they can hold against the top teams, but they've been playing down to the lower teams.
Yeah, we definitely saw that last week where they went to map 5 against Geometric, which that Geometric match was pretty close. So we'll see if they're able to continue holding themselves. Next up, EX Kusanagi, who was one of the big teams that made a big upset over the Big Bang Buccaneers to start off the season. Again, not a really good start to start off stage number 2 from what I'm aware. Let me just make sure of that. I believe
they lost to Flashbacks.
Yes,
2-1-1, I think.
3-0.
Or 3-0. 3-0.
Close, but
yeah, it was a 3-0-1.
Yeah, but that being said, Thea, what is your market investment on EX Kusanagi?
I mean, EX Kusanagi's, that's a standby for me. I think the fact that you at least managed to draw a map with Flashbacks as our number 1 right now says you could at least keep up. I just don't know how much they could keep up. And I'll have to see with how they play against Koala Kings this week.
Master Ryan, what is your market investment on EX Kusanagi?
So I'm at sell right now. So I think looking at their beginning in Group 1, a lot of the teams that they faced against were actually in a lower, they're lower down in the rankings right now. A couple of them, they got 4-0s, which looks really nice, but especially getting the 0-3 against Flashback. I think that's kind of showing that, they're not as strong of a team as they thought before, but, there's still a chance that they could rise up, but I'm still a sell.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how well EX Kusanagi is able to keep up as the season goes on. Speaking of EX Kusanagi, and again, I mentioned their upset win over the Big Bang Buccaneers, let's talk about the Bucks. The Big Bang Buccaneers coming off of a big win to start off stage number 2. Thea, what is your market investment on the Big Bang Buccaneers?
I'm going to take this as a slight joke and say bye just so that Bowsy's bold prediction from week 3 or something about Big Bang Buccaneers not losing a game anymore continues.
I'm pretty sure I only said that they would not lose in the regular season. So
okay, yeah, so exactly. So they're gonna do well right now, right? So
right.
You could buy it and then afterwards then you sell, right? Because the usual BBB somehow chokes in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't won a single playoff match yet, and they've gone to map 5 in all of their playoff games. So
buy now, and then as you're getting closer to knockouts,
buy now, sell later.
Sell before knockouts start.
Just like the stock market. Ryan, your thoughts on Big Bang Buccaneers? What's your market investment?
Whew. I am currently on standby with Big Bang. They're kind of in the same spot as I was saying, ex Kunagi. So good team. I thought they were an easier pool in the beginning. Them giving a 3-2 against Narwhal, which I think Narwhal right now is they're looking good, but they're not that high. If they would have came out and gave a 3-1 or a 4-0 against Narwhal, I would have been bye bye bye. But giving it a three, bring it to a close mat 5, I'm for sell. I don't think that there's a chance that they're going to be able to make it in the top.
I think like what's my selling point for it, maybe why I'm currently like on a buy and then maybe sell at knockouts because of the BBB curse is the fact that they finally have a coach who's actually appearing for scrims. So maybe turn around. That's like at least what I hope for.
Yeah, definitely. We will see. We will see how Big Bang Buccaneers are able to keep themselves up. Let's move on to our next Harmony NA team, Fahrenheit 972, coming off of their best ever stage 1 in as an organization, making it to B poll for the first time. So I mean, there's definitely improvement there. It's their best stage 1 as an organization. Thea, what is the market investment on Fahrenheit 972?
I can't believe you had to put out the stat card for them that way. But like I also have to say like shout out to Luna for actually building that team at the start.
Yeah.
Like that was a team built by Luna. So I would sadly have to say sell though. Yes, this is the best they've been, and I think that's like something that as a Fahrenheit community they should be proud of. But I'm not too sold, right, of their next set of wins because I know their win this week is from a bye, is from a forfeit, right? So I don't really have any read on whether they're actually good enough.
Yeah, we'll have to see how well Fahrenheit do as the season goes on. Ryan, what is your market investment on Fahrenheit?
So Fahrenheit, they're giving off heat right now like a candle, and I think the rest of the teams in the top, they're more like a blowtorch. So I'm on sell right now. They're definitely looking good. They're looking brighter, but I still think they have some improvement and things that they need to work on. But yeah, I think they're a fun team, but I'm still with sell.
They're still in burn yellow. They're not yet burn blue.
Yeah.
If anyone knows the fire joke of like which is the hottest fire, you'll get it.
Stop! Let's burn that bridge. And let's head over to the next. Let's head over to our next team, which is Insidious, an A group team. Their only loss in stage 1 was to the Koala Kings. Thea, what is your market investment on Insidious?
I mean, they lost their match against Galactic Penguins, right? So I don't think the fact that we've lost and very like swiftly to 2 of the top 4 teams really says a lot. So I'd say sell for me.
Master Ryan, your market investments on Insidious.
Yeah, I'm feeling the exact same way. They had their chance to prove against Koala Kings and Galactic Penguins. They didn't step up when they needed to, so I'm for sell right now on them.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how well Insidious does, and if these market trends actually do become the reality. Our final Harmony NA team is one that honestly kind of surprised me last week as well. Clairvoyance taking the win over the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. Thea, what is your market investment on Clairvoyance?
I think that for Clairvoyance, that's a standby for me. I think if they can get very clean wins against Chinchillas and Fahrenheit for the next 2 weeks of the stages, I'll probably buy some, like maybe a few stocks of them, just because that's a good showing in their big pool group.
Master Ryan, your thoughts on Clairvoyance? What's your market investment?
So currently, I'm on a standby as well for them. So looking at them, they're a 4-2 team right now. Their only 2 losses was week 1 and week 2 of group stage 1, and that's against Koala Kings and Insidious, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Which a lot of things happened at the beginning of the season. I think right now the win over fire breathing Rubber Duckies is a good step in the right direction. I just don't think it's enough to start buying into the stock. I think if they're coming into Chillas, they put down a dominant victory, then their stock could be ready to buy.
Yeah, definitely. Clairvoyance, definitely a very good start to stage number 2, considering they came from that Indigo B group that many people were saying was a little bit easy for the Koala Kings. I think it's definitely a good showing to already come out of the gate swinging against the Firebreathing Rubber Duckies and taking that win. We'll see if the market is able to be in the favor of Clairvoyance as we go through stage number 2 and into the playoffs. Let's move back over to the European side and head over to Discord Tier EU. The two teams we're not going to be talking about, your top two, to no one's surprise, Feeders United and Deathwatch. Let's start off with the other Feeders team, the Feeders Divided team. Thea, what is your market investment on Feeders Divided?
That's a buy for me. They're actually keeping pretty toe-to-toe with the top two teams, right? I think the only losses that Feeders Divided have sustained are from, well, the top two teams, respectively, I think. So, if anything, they're competitive. And it's more of can they tie things up and find that special something that will take them a step further.
Master Ryan, what is your market investment?
So I am also on a buy right now for them. So with the teams, those top 4 teams, especially in Discord EU, they're very close. I think Deathwatch, Feeders United have kind of shown themselves, but especially coming into Overwatch 2, I think this is a chance the Feeders Divided can actually prove what they can do, and I think there's a chance they could actually come out on top as well. So all in for buy.
We'll definitely see how well Feeders Divided are able to do compared to their brothers over on the United side. Next up, let's talk about Dragon's Aura. Not a lot of conversation about Dragon's Aura. They were 5th place, actually, in our top rankings for Discord Tier EU. Thea, what is your market investment on Dragon's Aura?
I don't know. I've put Dragon's Aura as a buy just because they have very strong showings, and I think the very dominant wins against like the lower teams and the very close wins against, you know, like Deathwatch early on in stage 1 just shows that they could also compete. So it's a buy for me.
Master Ryan, your market investment.
So I'm also with a buy. Going into that same reason, yeah, the week 7 they lost against Feeder Divided. They lost in a map 5 situation. Any team can drop one of those, but they're hanging in there with Deathwatch. They're hanging in there with Feeders Divided. Yeah, they took an 0-4 against Feeders United, but that was week 1. And as I said, a lot of teams coming to tournament. Anything can happen week 1. Not to say that 0-4 wasn't good, but there's a chance that they're also still in this fight for being the top seed.
We'll see if Dragon's Aura are going to be able to continue their fight for the top. Finally, in Discord Tier EU, let's talk about my personal favorite team in that tier, Mythical Kitsune. Thea, what is your market investment on the Mythical Kitsune?
I'm on a standby based on how their match against Dragon's Aura, I think, will go this week. I think they're up against each other this week. I'm on standby just because their other losses have been against really good teams, like very strong sweeps from those strong teams. But their wins haven't been as dominant unless they're like, you know, the bottom 2 tiers of Discord EU. So it's a standby for me.
Master Ryan, what's your market investment?
And me and Thermair, we're on the same exact phase because I'm also a standby. I think coming into this, the one thing to look at is, yes, they got a 4-0. They beat Paid to Win this week. It was a great win for them, not a problem. The week before, they had a loss against Deathwatch, 1-3, but they were able to take that map off of Deathwatch, which I think proves some to their ability. But I think coming in there, especially going against Dragon's Aura next week, I think that's going to be the turning point. Are they a buy or are they a sell? So I'm on complete standby.
We'll definitely see how well Mythical Kitsune are able to hold up, especially with the Kitsune herself in Overwatch coming into play later on in this season, maybe even this week, depending on if she's available in competitive. Let's move back across the pond, back over to the Discord tier in North America. The top 4 teams right now in that tier, or at least from what we've gathered in the standings, are Reminiscence, MI7, Chicago Deep Dish, and Avalon. So we will not be talking about those 4 teams. So let's start talking about everybody's ridiculously favorite team, Doodles. Thea, for how random Doodles market may be, what is your market investment on Doodles?
See, that's a sell for me. If there's anything, at least I know, is in the chaotic stock known as Doodles, it's a stock that works in Harmony tier where anything can go. You kind of need a little bit more structure once you hit Discord, and I don't think they have it. So it's a sell for me.
Master Ryan, what is your market investment on Doodles?
This has actually been my thought all season. I've been sell for Doodles. Yeah, they had a good Group 1 running. They held some close maps. They did everything right, but I just don't think they have what it takes. Losing 1-3 against Deep Dish, yeah, they took a map off of them, but at the same time, I'm not buying it yet, so I'm all for sell.
Yeah, you know who else took a map off a deep dish? Cosmic Castaways. So
Yeah.
that definitely that tells you Doodles right now. Doodles
The
again.
Cosmic Castaways.
The Cosmic
Okay, Castaways who are currently in elimination pool.
Rebranded Cosmic Castaways with the new players are the OG Cosmic Castaways at the start of week 1.
The new Cosmic Castaways. So
Interesting.
yeah, Doodles again. Roll a dice. That's how good Doodles are gonna do. So we'll see if they're able to continue it in Overwatch 2. Let's move over to our next team, and it's kind of weird that I have one of the players for this team on the podcast this week. It's Redacted. Thea, what's your market investment on Redacted?
See, Master Ryan's gonna be disappointed in me because I put standby just because. See, he's shaking his head right now. I feel like my decision to put this on standby has just been the fact that I have been completely out of the loop for like some of these matches, right? And I haven't really seen like a highlight moment from Redacted to like say I'm a full buy, but like I'm willing to be persuaded if Master Ryan over here can make a good speech on why they should buy, because I think that's his answer.
Well, Master Ryan, what's
Man,
your
I mean,
case?
their main tank's bad. I'm always for sell for that. No, I'm for buy, 100%. I mean, as a player, I'm not gonna go too over the top, but we came into last week. I mean, we kind of proved the end of our group stage 1 that we are a team to contend with. I mean, we beat that top team, Joey. They think we beat SEAL Team Spuds, which everyone thinks a top 8 team. We came in.
Okay, I agree with that argument. I agree with either argument.
So yeah, I know it could be, it's just their luck. Not a problem. It was our off day. But anyway, going into reminiscence. We came in. It was an 0-4, tough loss, everything like that. But breaking down to the match, map 1, map 2, we're actually very close against Rem. Map 3, we struggled on Circuit Royale, and going into map 4, we kind of were at the point where we said, okay, time to have fun, guys. Let's go into the last map and see what we can do. So I'm by. I think people out there, I think they're really overlooking what we can do, especially going into it where we're going to have a full roster again. Last week, we didn't have Turtle VP with us last week, who's been doing really well as well. So I'm for buy. I think people should watch Redacted start to grow, especially these next 2 matches.
Redacted has proven the past couple of seasons that they are the #1 underdog in Discord tier that everyone keeps doubting. They're starting to become the new Joey Esports where everybody's sleeping on them. And I think really people should be paying attention to Redacted, even myself. Maybe that's just my bias speaking because I really like the Redacted org, but I think Redacted needs more attention going into this half of the season. We'll see if the market picks up and if they're able to make it to the championship bracket. Speaking of Joey Esports, let's go over the most slept team in all of Tranquility, which you can buy pajamas for at shop.spreadshirt.com/tranquilitygg. Thea, what is your market investment on Joey Esports?
Okay, I was about to make that comment because you said that Redacted's the new Joey Esports about being slept on, so I was like, why not just buy Redacted like pajamas and pillowcases at this rate?
Yeah, buy them at the store. There's your link.
Buy them at the store, right? And, well, I put Joey Esports on this conditional, I'll buy like a few small stocks right now of them just because of how they won against MI7, and I think how they'll be showing up for the next few matches will just solidify further whether I should be buying more or not.
Master Ryan, what is your market investment on Joey?
So in Joey right now, I'm a standby right now. Coming into it, yes, they beat MI7. As going against Joey, the past couple, they've always been a good team. We were able to take it to them. I think once people start learning about them, there's a chance that they could be better, they could be worse. Maybe if instead of pajamas, they had like a nice little satchel, like a kangaroo pouch or something that I could have gotten. But
Marsupial.
yeah, I know. I would have just gotten, I would have bought, but right now I'm a standby.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Joey Esports are finally going. If people are finally going to wake up on Joey Esports this season. Let's go over to the Galactic Gibbons now. A big win in the feature match last week on Thursday. Thea, what is your market investment on the Galactic Gibbons?
I think Galactic Gibbons is on a buy for me right now. I think if there's anything I've noticed from casting their feature match last week is that the switch over to Overwatch 2 has made them stronger just because now they can have Sticko in for all their maps, right? They don't have to worry about the issue of which tank they're going to have in, especially after letting go Magic Otter. And every other piece, if Sombra still stays meta, that's going to be a strong team.
Master Ryan, your market investments while I do some research.
So I'm currently on standby for them. The reason for this is they came in, they won against Avalon, but I think Avalon looks a little weaker, especially moving over to Overwatch 2 right now. During the features match, there wasn't anything really that, stuck out to me as like a crazy thing that's going to happen, that they stepped up a ton. I will say this as someone who will be going against them this week. They have a chance to actually change my mind and see what's going to happen with Galactic Gibbons.
We'll
So I'm on standby.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how well Galactic Gibbons is. And we've mentioned so many times in the podcast, Sticko, MVP caliber. So now I actually did look at the roster and made sure that this was the case. Thea's right. Sticko is the only tank on that roster remaining. So,
which is honestly also the reason why I still have buy stocks for Strix and Harmony, because they only have one tank now.
You're not wrong, but
I'm just really hoping, Bowsy, you didn't do your curse, and hopefully Sticko is going to be around after this week.
I mean, we'll have to see. Listen, I'm used to the caster curse at this point. I'm a caster. That's my job. My job is to caster curse. Let's move on to our next team, which is Adelaide Eclipse. Thea, what is your market investment on Adelaide?
Adelaide Eclipse for me is a buy. I think them being in a B pool is just string of luck. Had to go up against Reminiscence and MI7 in their stage 1 pool. One of them was bound to be in B pool. It just so happened to be them. And once they enter B pool, first match, 4-0. Couldn't say more. That's a buy.
Ryan, your market investments on Adelaide.
I'm currently a buy. I thought in the beginning of the year, Adelaide was going to be one of the top teams. It looks like, as Thormea said, they were in a tough division starting off. They have a lot of good players on that. A lot of good players have gone from league to league to league. They've played a good time together. I think the 4-0 win over Space Graded kind of proved what they could do. Mm-hmm. I don't think Space Graded. I don't think they were at their full strength as they were during Group Stage 1, but a 4 nonetheless is going to be really good. I think we're going to see them kind of rise.
We'll definitely see how well Adelaide Eclipse are able to continue this. Let's move over now to Ragnarok Loki. I mentioned them at the start of the show when I was talking about Hades. Thea, what's your market investment on Ragnarok Loki?
Honestly, that loss against Hades puts them at a sell for me. I feel like you should have at least won that match, especially now that your incoming matches are one against Adelaide Eclipse. If Adelaide Eclipse just completely demolishes them by on Thursday, that not only solidifies Adelaide Eclipse status as a buy, but also solidifies the fact that Ragnarok Loki's a sell.
Master Ryan, what is your take on Ragnarok Loki?
So I'm currently on standby for them. So I've been under that. Yeah, they had a 2-3 loss against Hades, but I think Hades is a very good team. They are showing what they can do. They've always stepped up to the plate when the time needed. And I think it's a tough loss, but I think Loki still has more to prove to us itself. So I'm on standby. I think they could go either way during this tournament.
Could you say that if you ignore Hades, that they will grab you from under?
Boo.
Thanks for watching, everybody. No, it's not the end yet. That's not the end yet. Let's move over to our next team, which is the SEAL Team Spuds. Thea, what is your market investment on the SEAL Team Spuds?
I put them at a sell. I'm sorry to my former teammates at Frost Nova. I'm gonna have to put you on a sell for this. I don't know how to put into words my feelings about SEAL Team Spuds, other than the hype that's surrounding them really isn't as valid as maybe Redacted, who's gone through how many really strong matches. SEAL Team Spuds has been losing maps to teams that aren't as hot, and had to go toe to toe with Joey Esports and lost that in the end. So I'm not too sold.
Master Ryan, what's your market investment on the SEAL Team Spuds?
I'm on standby right now for them. They're kind of the same thing that I saw everyone. So going into the first week, Thunder Rockies 3-1. I think that was a pretty clean, pretty easy win for them to do. That's kind of what I expected. Going into the last week of Group 1 against Space Created, they won that 3-1, which to me, I was very surprised by that. So I think that they're really starting to step up in the ways that they did. I think they're starting to have a couple players shine, and I think especially how Overwatch 2 plays, where one player can take over a fight. I think they have the DPS potential to kind of take over that fight. But it'd be nice to see the next 2 weeks. So I'm on standby to see what's going to happen with them.
We'll definitely see how well SEAL Team Spuds are able to do as Stage 2 continues. Our final team of Discord Tier North America we're going to talk about is Space Created. Thea, what is your market investment on Space Created?
Space Created to sell for me. Look, if I'm selling SEAL Team Spuds, I have to sell Space Created. Like, that's just how it works, right? SEAL Team Spuds beats Space Created, and I'm selling SEAL Team Spuds. It's logic, kinda.
It can make sense in a way. Ryan, your market investment on SEAL Team, or not SEAL Team, Space Created, excuse me.
So if this was 2 days ago, I would have been standby, closer to buy. But as seen last night, Veli was released from Space Created and Abstract was set on leave of absence. I think that's going to be a big issue for Space Created. I mean, that's 2 players down. You have to bring new players in. They're looking for players. They're recruiting right now. So I think that spells really bad things for them. So I'm on a sell.
You never want to have to disrupt synergy this late into the season. Mm-hmm. I should know. I have seen teams do it. And even this person up here has seen teams do it. And it's been on teams that have done it. So you really do not want to lose that synergy. And now that I'm hearing that about Space Created, it's going to be difficult. But we'll see if they're able to make a run for it and being able to keep themselves alive. Let's move to our final tier of the day, which is the Transcendence tier. Your top 4 teams there that we won't be talking about are the Guangzhou Gangsters, to no one's surprise, Decapitators, to no one's surprise, Amnesia, and the Sydney Sunsets. So let's start off with the first team, which hopefully this doesn't crash my old OBS again.
No, don't say it. I'll say it.
We won't say their names.
Maybe my changes.
The Bear team.
We will call them Loose. Thea, what is your market investment on Lose?
For Lose, the marsupial team called Lose, that's a standby for me. I think with a lot of the roster swaps that they're the player roster changes that they've had, I don't think there's going to be as much synergy, and I want to see where they're planning to take the team with all these changes. It's a standby for me right now.
Master Ryan, what is your market investment?
So I don't know if you guys saw this, I was standby and I really started thinking about it, and I'm honestly on a sell right now with the Devil Dukes. Might be bold, people may not like that right now, but going into it, looking to it, they just went against Reckless Sigma, they won 3-2 against Reckless Sigma in a very close match. I think Reckless Sigma is one of those teams that are good, but they're not contender, and keeping it very close right there, I think is going to keep them from going into that top 4 or even making the first. So right now, I'm going to sell. I think I'd love to be proved wrong. Let's just say that.
Yeah, the DD lose is probably the way the market will be going, but we'll see if DD lose can DD not lose.
DD win? That's very strange.
That's a very cursed state. We don't talk about that here. Let's move over to our next team, which actually, gave DD a lose. Arctic Foxes. Thea, what is the market investment you have on Arctic Foxes?
I think I listed Arctic Foxes down as a buy. For the sole reason that besides them handing that lose to DD, have had at least strong showings this week, eventually beating out also Frostfisher from their last match where they lost against Frostfisher. So I I don't want to preempt whatever else I'm going to say, but Arctic Foxes is a buy for me just because they have like a lot of potential.
Ryan, what's your market investment on the Arctic Foxes?
So I'm currently on a standby. They're an interesting team right now because they've had really good matches. They've had really bad matches. I'm not sure what to take of that. I'm not really quite sure, which way to go. They've been a very confusing team watching them all throughout Group Stage 2, and it's especially Group Stage 1 and coming in Group Stage 2. So I don't know what to think about them right now. So I'm on standby.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about them either. On one hand, they beat DD. On the other hand, they've given Lijiang Legion one of their 3 maps that they've won all season. So that if that doesn't tell you like the highest highs and the lowest lows of Arctic Foxes, I don't know what does. And that just puts them in a very confusing situation, but we'll see if they're able to keep it up as we head through stage number 2 and if they can show the market who's boss. Let's move over now to Reckless Sigma, a Map 5 series last week against DD Lose. Thea, what is your market investment on Reckless Sigma?
I have Reckless Sigma as a sell, I guess, because I'm not. I guess I don't know what's probably the internal workings of how they function as a team, but I haven't seen any roster changes from Transcendence tier to make any other predictions. But if they keep the way that they are, I don't think they'll be competitive enough to reach championship bracket.
Master Ryan, what is your market investment on Reckless Sigma?
So I'm currently on standby, going down to sell kind of range right now. Again, I think they're a good team. I'm not quite sure right now if they're a top contending team is the issue. They've played good against the teams they should have, and I think they've kept some games too close. So I'm not quite sure, so I'm on standby.
Definitely we'll see how well Reckless Sigma does. I'm a stan of the Reckless Org, of course. I've always been a stan of the Reckless Org in late season, but we'll see if they're able to keep that performance up. Let's move over now to, oh hey, another team that the guy on my left here owns. Classified. Thea, what is your market investment on Classified?
I currently have Classified on standby. I think I'm just waiting for more, I guess, solid wins for them in stage 2 before I decide to buy, because they have very strong showings, especially with that 4-0 win against Culture, and the other teams are also in their same pool. Like, they've won against them. Like, I think their only other loss has been to Decapitators, right? And Reckless Sigma. So I think I'll put that on standby.
I can check that for you while Master Ryan makes his claim on his own team. What's your market investment?
Man, they're just bad. No, I'm full buy. No, I'm full buy. From seeing what they're doing right now, they've actually cracked down. They've been scrimming every single day. They've been doing higher and higher scrims. So they've been putting in a lot more effort. They were not happy with what they did in Group Stage 1. They know they sat back. So coming in with a dominant 4-0 victory against Culture was kind of their way of proving, like, hey, we're not messing around anymore. We're coming in. And I think the best thing that could have happened, which I think, Bowsy, I talked to you about, is their coach finally said, you guys are messing up. You need God's intervention coming in. So they now brought in the Mormon 27 as a tank player for them, which I think is a great pickup that they did.
My original pick for best Transcendence tier coach, the Mormon 27, and Apathy's pick for best Discord tier coach during our midseason awards is now an official player on Classified, which I find very intriguing. And we'll see if he's going to be boosting up that market for Classified and if they're going to be able to make it to the championship bracket. Let's move over now to another team, which Thea talked about a little bit before, Frost Fisher. Thea, what is your market investment on Frost Fisher?
I'm a buy for Frost Fisher. If I'm going to be buying for Arctic Foxes, I have to also do it for Frost Fisher. The games between them have been back and forth, but I think another thing that I look forward to with Frost Fisher is that I know the coaching staff behind them, and I know they will have great macro fundamentals. And I think the fact that they have what do you call this? They have a all-star player from season 7 known as Losh on their team now is a big plus. Especially when Genshi's meta.
I have said it many times before. Roses are red, violets are blue, Losh is in your backline, and he's killing you. So Loshes all of our sleep paralysis demons here at Tranquility, and there's no exception this season. Master Ryan, what's your market investment on Frost Fisher?
That Frost Fisher, just like Arctic Foxes, I'll be honest, I don't know how to read them. I don't know if they're going to do well. I don't know if they're going to do bad. It's very difficult to know what's going to happen with them. So I'm currently on standby until they prove me wrong and prove, yes, we are going to be able to do this. We are going to win this. If they come in and they go with a dominant win over Reckless Sigma, maybe buy. If they come in and lose, maybe sell. I don't know.
It's the curse of the Permafrost org. I really can't say anything. Like, Permafrost org teams are just like, what is happening here? Suddenly, why are they making a really good playoff run? What is happening here? So,
and I really think that, Arctic Foxes losing in group stage 1 and then coming in and winning against them, like them going back and forth, it's hard to know.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Listen, Transcendence Tier is hard in general. I don't know the predictions for Transcendence Tier at this point because it's just all over the place. When Guangzhou Gangsters lose their first map, everything goes nuts. And I think that's what we're seeing right now in Transcendence Tier. Let's wrap up the Transcendence Tier with our final team to talk about. The Krabby Crabbers getting their first sweep win over 413 Catalyst last week. Thea, what is your market investment on the Krabby Crabbers?
As much as, like, it's a really good 4-0 sweep, right? Like, they've established themselves, it's still a sell for me. I mean, their other wins during stage 1 really weren't as... Their losses stood out more than their wins from stage 1. So it's a really solid sell for me.
And finally, Master Ryan, what is your market investment on the Krabby Crabbers?
I am for sell. So I've thought about this like all season long that Krabby Crabbers, I think they've played up to teams, but I don't think that they're going to keep that up. I think, they had a 4-0 win against 403 Catalyst, which I thought was going to be a good team. And again, I've been proven time and time again that they haven't lived up to what I thought they were going to do. But I think going into this, I think they're a sell right now. I think they're going to make it farther into the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to make it to the end.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how well the Krabby Crabbers do and if they're able to keep that momentum up. But that is everything here on the, that is everything for our market investments. We are not responsible if your markets start crashing and you lose all of your stocks heading into the next season of Tranquility.
Don't bet real money on this. Do not bet real money on this.
Please do not bet real money on this. We are not gambling on Twitch. We are not trying to gamble on Twitch. That is also illegal, so we're not doing that. Real quick, no comms check video this week, unfortunately. Please submit your comms check clips. We currently only had 3 this week. If we get more, maybe we'll have one for week 8 and week 9. So get those comms checks clips in as fast as you can. As now, this is the most important announcement. Thea mentioned at the beginning of the episode, but I'm going to make a big statement about it right now. We need members for our end of season awards committee. As usual, the end of season awards are upon us, which means that we are about to announce the nominees for our end of season awards and have people vote on them. The way we've done it for the past few seasons, I believe since season 6, when I joined, is we've had a committee. We've had people apply to a end of season awards committee and then vote on who they think the best nominees are for each tier and each category: best tank, flex DPS, hit scan, main support, flex support, coach, and also the other outside categories, including most improved player. So if you want to apply for the end of season awards committee, we recently just sent out an announcement in our Discord channel so that you can apply for the end of season committee. And I'm going to make this extremely clear. Every season, we have the same problem with the end of season awards. People are like, why hasn't this player been nominated to the top picks? Why is this player nominated when their team is currently 0-8? Why are you going with these sort of picks? I'm going to make it extremely clear right now. If you do not attempt to join the end of season awards committee, I really do not want to hear these complaints coming out of your mouth. I know it's going to sound bold. I know it's going to sound like rude in a way, but we have this problem every single season, and every single season, Yeti says the exact same thing. Why didn't you participate in the end of season awards committee? So I'm going to make the case, if you do not apply to the committee, you do not have a right to complain about the end of season award nominees. That's my take on the entire situation. If you want to complain about that over on Twitter, over on Discord, whatever, but that's my stance on the argument. Please, if you feel like that you have a player or a coach or anything of that like that deserves an end of season award nomination or an award, then please join the committee, make your case, or at least attempt to join the committee. If you don't get on the committee, you attempted to get on, you didn't get on, you have the right to complain. But if you do not attempt to get onto the committee and you do complain, then we start to have problems in my eyes. So that's my case. That's my rant over. Make sure if you want to have a say in our end of season awards that you attempt to join the committee. Again, details can be found in the announcements channel of the Tranquility Discord server. Let's now head over into our matches to watch as we head into the halfway point of stage number 2. Thea, we'll start with you. What match are you looking forward to this week?
I'm looking forward to the Arctic Foxes versus Devil Dukes match
There
to
we
see
go.
if this is going to be a revenge match. I'm expecting it to be a 3-2 for Arctic Foxes. Because it's Arctic Foxes. I don't know what to expect from them anymore, nor from Devil Dukes.
I mean, at this point, I don't know what's making you laugh. The fact that you had to read this match or the fact that my rant just happened. But
A little both.
Both?
Maybe both. Ryan, what is your match that you're watching this week?
So I'm throwing it across the pond and kind of talked about this before during what we were thinking. It's the Mythical Kasune versus the Dragon's Aura. So I think that's going to be a very good match. That's going to kind of prove what's going on over in the EU right now. I currently have, Dragon Aura wearing it up 3-2, but I think that's going to be a very close match either way.
It's going to be interesting to see how well that Discord EU showdown goes for what we've really been... These two teams have been jostling back and forth for that 4th place spot in our Discord tier top teams, or Discord tier EU top teams, so this could really be the decider depending on the results of this match, but who am I to judge? Heading over my match that I'm watching this week, I'm actually looking at the Discord tier NA elimination pool. I'm looking forward to Cosmic Castaways versus Vampires. Cosmic Castaways, a very rough start to the season. Nobody can deny that, but maybe Overwatch 2 will be a strong point for them. They did get a bye last week, so they already have 1 win to their name, but we'll see if they're able to live up. And Vampires has sneakily become an interesting dark horse this season. They've been a really strong team. They were the 3rd team in elimination. They were 3rd place when it came to elimination pool standings, or at least heading into the elimination pool. They were the 3rd team to actually get in. Cosmic Castaways were 1st. I think Vampires can make a strong case, and especially getting the win 3-1 last week over Poseidon has put them in a very good situation. I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-2 win for the Cosmic Castaways, though, because I feel like Overwatch 2 might be catered more to them, and they might be able to excel at that level. We'll see if they're able to do that, though. Now, if those predictions aren't enough for you, I have some good news. After this show, me and Ryan are going to be joining Nerfed for Predicting Tranquility, where we're going to be breaking down every single match happening next week in Tranquility Gaming. You do not want to miss that, airing right after our show. We also have our feature matches this week. We are still planning on getting a Harmony EU match. We're still sorting out the details on that, but we should have a Harmony Tier EU feature match tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central European. And later that night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Millibot Gaming versus Narwhal Connects being our Harmony Tour North America feature match. Wednesday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's the Transcendence tier where the Decapitators are taking on the Sydney Sunsets. We'll see if Decapitators are able to rebound from a Map 5 win over Amnesia and able to make it a lot more easier to win there. On Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central European is Berserk versus Deathwatch. And finally, to round out the night at 9 p.m. Eastern is Space Created versus Hades. 2 teams we talked a lot about on this episode of the podcast, so we'll see if Space Created is able to keep themselves riding high or if Hades is going to be bringing them down under just like they did last week with their other opponent. No real announcements to announce outside of that, apart from, as I mentioned, the end of season awards committee is now live. If you want to apply, please review the information in our Tranquility Discord. Except, I have some giveaways to give out. Of course, as part of Event Week, we were giving away 5 Amazon gift cards, 5 $50 Amazon gift cards. The winners for those gift cards have officially been drawn. As now, can I get a drum roll, please, for our first victor of an Amazon gift card?
I don't know how to do drum rolls. What is drum rolls?
That's all I got.
The first winner of the $50 Amazon gift card is Brent J.D. Congratulations, Brent D.D., for winning the first one. The second winner is Obi-Wan Kenobi with a bunch of numbers in it. I am not reading that in the numbers it is, but congratulations, Obi, for winning a $50 gift card. Your third winner of a $50 Amazon gift card is Cry from Decapitators. Congratulations, Cry, for winning that. Your fourth winner happens to ride with Cry. It's Try. Congratulations, Try, for winning a $50 gift card. And finally, to round out our 5 $50 Amazon gift card giveaway is Lovery. Congratulations, Lovery, for winning a $50 Amazon gift card. You'll be getting messages coming out from the Tranquility staff to redeem those $50 Amazon gift cards. So congratulations to all 5 of you for winning those Amazon gift cards. And thanks to everybody for helping make Event Week. You know, wasn't the event week that we wanted, but we still had a lot of fun trying to raise a lot of money for Rise Above the Disorder. So it was still a fun week overall, but we'll see how it goes on as we continue out the season. But that is going to do it for us today. For Thea and Master Ryan, my name has been Bowsy. We thank you all for gazing into the iris with us here tonight. Until we meet again, we hope you have an amazing night. And me and Ryan will be seeing you in just a few minutes on Predicting Tranquility.
See.
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.